Shalom Saints, all praise to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who taught us this truth. And within this edition, I keep on seeing the rape law pop back up over and over again, and people are calling to get the rape doctrine and all this stuff. When this law is simply risk mitigation, which we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into what all that is. And I see a lot of people teaching it as, like it was a permission to do that back then. But you got to keep in mind that our people were people of nobility. We were a royal people. There's a reason why Jacob didn't just go and rape Rachel. This law is put here as a risk mitigation, which we're going to read this. We're going to read it. We're going to get the understanding. Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, so the young woman is pure, she never laid with a man, and she is not promised to a man. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, he rape her, and lie with her, and they be found. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. Now, this was the law in the ancient world, and this is how the Heavenly Father still says it should be handled today. And whenever we bring this out to our modernized mind, to the modernized minds of our people now, to our Israelite brethren and sisters who have been Hellenized, their mind goes to, they don't love each other, they don't have anything in common, which back then, if you was an Israelite, yes you did, offer it. But this is what our people think. How can you force him to stay with her? Once again, let's go ahead from here, since we just read the law on what happens in that situation. This is gonna be the book of 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly, and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers. You see, so the reason why this law is written, let's go ahead and get this definition, right? Risk mitigation, all right? And I learned this term from my occupation, okay? It says risk mitigation is the practice of reducing the impacts of potential risk by developing a plan to manage, eliminate, or limit setbacks as much as possible. This is exactly what that law in Deuteronomy 22:28 is talking about. See, because we were a noble people. Our lineages and who we married, who we got with, all that was super important. So this woman she just had her virginity taken. She's in a community full of a whole bunch of other young women, all right, who have never been touched before. All the men are gonna want to be with her. So what happens? Let's go ahead and read this account whenever Dinah had got raped. Okay, it wasn't no thing like which matter of fact, before I move on to the next point, forgive me if I sound a little scattered, but in basically with this law, if a man did do that, which it was never you just go out there, you rape her, and then she's yours. If a man did that, yeah, according to the law, this is how you handle it. But that would be like bad credit. Like you might got the money for something, but ain't nobody gonna want to sell it to you. Because whenever we read the scriptures, we're gonna read it. Our people really cared about their families. Okay, Esau has it in our people's mind to whenever you read these things, just imagine the color purple. Just think of the worst thing possible. But that's not how it was. Our people had great love. Think about who these women were. This was your sister, your auntie, your mama, your grandma. We always, whenever you read these scriptures, we always make sure that our woman was taken care of. Are you goofy? Come on, man. The book of Genesis chapter 34 and verse 25, and I'm going to read this in the easy English version. This is right after what happened was that Dinah had went into the town to go hang out with some of the women in there, and this dude Shechem, he was the son of Hamor, of the leader of the town, and he ended up raping Dinah against her will. Right? So how did they react to this? Oh, well, he got her. Go ahead and pay the dowry. Let's read what happened. Genesis 34:25. And 3 days after the men were circumcised, because Simeon and Levi told the men of the town, well, look, y'all go ahead and circumcise yourselves and we'll be cool. It says, And 3 days after the men were circumcised, they were still in a lot of pain. At this time, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, attacked the men with their swords. The two brothers were Simeon and Levi, and they killed every male in the city. Simeon and Levi killed Hamor and his son Shechem with their swords, and they took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. And when you read it, they want to make sure all the men were dead. They took all the animals and the women and children. They took everything. They ran the pockets. They hit the liquor real quick. Why? Because verse 30, Genesis 34, verse 30. And when they returned to Jacob, he said, "You have brought trouble on me. You have made me like a bad smell to the Canaanites and Perizzites by what you have done. These people also live in this land. We do not have many men. If the Perizzites and Canaanites attack, they will destroy us all." But Levi and Shemaiah replied, "Shechem should not have used our sister as if she were a prostitute." He's just going to take her and he just going to grab her and take her like that. Whenever you read this in the John Gill commentary, whenever it said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot, it says, make a whore of her and then keep her in his house as such. Is this to be borne with? Or should we take no more notice of his behavior to our sister, or show no more regard to her than if she was a common prostitute, whom no man will defend or protect? That was the issue that they had with that. Like, man, how she just gonna use her like that? You see, so that law in Deuteronomy 22 and verse 28, that's simply a risk mitigation. Because Simeon and Levi, their children, the Israelites, you better believe they would feel the same way about their sister getting raped. To this day, our people don't play about that stuff. But within our law, what it is about, you got to be your brother. You see, so it was a risk mitigation. That shit does happen, but when it happens, that's how you handle it. Boom. Okay, so with that being said, yes, in the ancient world, if a woman was out there in the field and she was not promised to anybody, if a man found her and took her, yeah, she will become his. Why? Because in that type of society, who else is gonna want to be with her? With all this surplus of virgins around, and you can institute your spirit into, you see. And also, why also does he have to pay a dowry? And right here it says 50 shekels, but whenever you translate that, it's a lot of money, man. It's because you just affected somebody else's household. You just went in there and distorted someone else's household. You got to pay that dowry, man. You basically taking workers out the kitchen, basically. You see, because what is a woman used for? To aid a man whenever he's sick. She's made to be a helpmeet. You see. That being said, I just wanted to bring that out, man. All praise to the Heavenly Father. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.